Shooting in video games is kind of weird. I just fired a gun and the enemy died. If we zoom in a little bit, you can clearly see that the crosshair is not on the enemy. I missed. So why did the bullet hit the enemy? People think accuracy in shooting games is simple. You put the crosshair over the enemy, you click, the bullet shoots, and the enemy is dead. But in almost every shooter, the game is secretly bending the rules. So today we're going to uncover the tricks that developers use to make you feel like you're a better shot than you actually are. Chapter 1. Bigger hitboxes. This cube has a box collider. Now let's increase the collider size. Somehow the cube got hit. If we look in the wireframe mode, you can see that the wireframe collider is actually bigger than the cube, and this makes it easier to hit it. Developers often make hitboxes larger than the actual visible model, especially for enemies that move quickly or are far away, and it makes shots feel more consistent without most players even noticing. This is easy because in video games, hitboxes aren't the exact same as the player model. They're actually made up of 3D primitive shapes like cubes, spheres, capsules, and more. This makes it easier for developers to change the size, for example, of the player's head and make it almost as big as yours. So on a player model, for example, we wouldn't have an exact hitbox fit. Instead, the developer would have to add separate colliders for the arms, maybe some capsules for the thighs, a box for the feet. Usually when I make video games, I don't even bother adding separate colliders for the fingers because that would be overkill. These invisible hitboxes are supposed to be accurate to the actual shape of the player, but sometimes it can get a little bit wonky when developers accidentally make them too big or too small. Chapter 2. Aim assists. Aim assist does not equal aimbot, at least that's what the controller players say. Aim assist is most widely known to be a feature for console players, as they don't have as precise aim as people that play on keyboard and mouse. But you can aim with your whole wrist! When you toggle on aim assist in a video game, some player vs player games apply this feature by slowing down the crosshair when an enemy enters the certain range of the crosshair. This means it automatically takes control of your camera input. It feels like an invisible force that's guiding your reticle to the enemy's head or body, as long as you're aiming near the enemy's general direction. In my opinion, controller players, y'all have it good. Us keyboard and mouse players, while it's technically easier to aim, it requires much more skill to aim. So let's try it on our little demo here. So right here you can see that the crosshair has no aim assists. And right here, now you can see the crosshair slowing down over the enemy. Chapter 3. Bullet magnetism. Bullet magnetism is a different version of aim assists. Instead of slowing the actual camera reticle when you move over the player, bullet magnetism only affects the bullet. So if you shoot in the general direction of the enemy, the bullet will start to slowly curve towards the enemy all by itself. Not every game does this though. In Halo, magnetism was a type of aim assist that let players target enemies much easier. It was only enabled for controllers, so those on keyboard and mouse were not affected. But us PC players, we have it easy. We can use our whole wrists. At least that's what them slimy controller players say as they triple dink headshot us with their controller aim assist. I'm actually sick of aim assist. Developers want everyone to have a fair chance at competitive games. Now, let me show you an in-game example of bullet magnetism with our handy little demo here. So you can see here, no magnetism, here, magnetism. There is a huge difference. Chapter 4. Lag compensation. Shooting in multiplayer video games is a pretty complicated topic to talk about, but basically there's something called lag compensation. How it works is that in multiplayer video games, your view of the game world, including the enemies, is several frames behind what the server is reporting on its end. How it works is, in multiplayer video games, your view of the game world, including enemies, is several frames behind what the server is reporting on its end, and what the server says goes. So if you shoot an enemy and on your screen it's a headshot, on the server, the player or enemy might be 10 frames ahead of what you see, so the shot would blank and not even hit. The amount of delay that there is called ping. So if you have 100 ping, the server is 100 milliseconds ahead of what you see. And if you have 0 ping, then you see exactly what the server sees. Because the server is the one processing all of the shots, you only get hit or hit a shot if the server detects that the shot is hit. So the more ping you have, the less chance you have of hitting the shot. Chapter 5. Fake bullet trails. Bullet trails are an amazing visual effect in FPS games, but what if I told you that 67.7% of the time, they're not even there? What do I mean by that? Well, there are two types of bullets in the game: hit scan bullets and projectiles. Hit scan bullets are when the game shoots out an invisible ray in the direction of the crosshair, and then checks if the enemy is in the way. Then, if it is, it instantly damages the enemy. There is no delay or waiting for the projectile to move. Meanwhile, there are projectile-based bullets. Instead of shooting out a ray and instantly damaging the enemy, the game spawns in an actual bullet shell model and then moves it in the direction of the crosshair. This time, there's a bullet travel time, which means that the enemy has time to dodge out of the way. If the enemy is out of the way by the time the bullet gets there, there is no damage. The visual is here to help players read the action of the bullet shooting, not to simulate the exact physics of it hitting. Chapter 7. Crosshairs Lie. Most shooter games have a dynamic crosshair that changes in between weapons, and it's supposed to show how much bloom or not that you have. But the crosshair is literally there just for looks. It's completely visual and has no correlation. So that's how bullets work in shooting games. Really, developers have to find solutions for hiding problems that otherwise wouldn't have existed in real life. Bullet travel time, hit scan weapons, aim assist, hitboxes, they're all tools to make the player feel like they're better than they actually are. So next time you miss a headshot in Fortnite or get one-shotted by a controller player with so-called aim assist, you can blame it on people like me. In the end, great shooters don't make you accurate, they make you feel more accurate. Bro, this demo might actually become a playable game if I keep on adding features to it. Anyone got an idea of what I should add next? Maybe I could publish it on Steam. I just published a coding comic book, and you can be one of the first people to buy it on Amazon. You'll learn how to make your own 6 games from scratch while learning real game design principles. Stock is limited, so make sure to get it today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.